Yo, what's going on? Chavo Guerrero Jr. here, giving a big shout out to Wrestling Rehab. Keep watching, keep listening, and viva la raza.
Órale. I have been on the road a lot. A lot. Dang it. All right. So I haven't had a chance to really talk about what happened at the chamber now that Monday Night Raw is behind us. What's up, Bessa Benny? And because I just been trucking it a lot, but I have been watching. Man, I have been watching. Okay. So let's go ahead and cover a couple of things that are going on, right? I will say this. I will say this. Before Elimination Chamber, I was saying that I'm not excited for WrestleMania. Like they're not doing a good enough job for me to be excited for WrestleMania. Okay. After Elimination Chamber, has that changed for me? A little bit. Not much, but at least a little bit. And now I kind of see where they're going with this, right? So let's go ahead and let's just kind of get to the Elimination Chamber and let's get into a little bit of Monday Night Raw as well, right? Connecting the dots here. So, um, Elimination Chamber, it kicks off with, um, oh shoot, what did it kick off with? The women's chamber match. And I gotta tell you guys this, man. I gotta tell you guys this. Rhea Ripley, I thought she was always pretty damn good looking. She has lost some weight, and now I don't like the way she looks, man. I don't. She is, you know, she looks she looks freakish looking now. I think she needs to put on a little bit of weight that she lost. But anyway, Rhea Ripley, she goes ahead, she wins this, which I thought I thought that was the right way to go, thinking of everybody that was involved in the match. And the last two was Tiffy Stratton and Rhea Ripley, which it should have been one of those two, mainly Rhea Ripley, because I mean, come on, you get put Tiffy Stratton back in there again. Uh, I was just kind of like, all right, look, good match, enjoyed it, but there wasn't really anything popping out, eye popping to me where I was just like, damn, heck yeah. It was good. Like I said, I don't have an issue with it. I enjoyed it. And it was just having Rhea, um, Rhea Ripley, putting her back, getting the tag team titles off of her, right? And putting her back in the main picture for the main title. That's where she really belongs. I don't know what you want to do with the women's tag team titles. I mean, I think they're on the right two women right now with that Lash Legend and Nia Jax. I think they're just gonna be a powerhouse, and they do make more sense of a tag team. Of a tag team. Rhea Ripley going up against Jade Cargill. Cool. I was listening that the original plan was to have Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill, but Bianca, she's still not cleared to compete. So that would have been the match to make at WrestleMania. And we all knew that. We've been knowing that they're trying to make Bianca versus Jade Cargill, but Bianca, she's still not cleared. So, what's the next best thing? Well, it's going to be against Rhea Ripley. And would I rather see Bianca against Jade? Yeah, I would. I don't really have an issue seeing Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. Out of the women, like I said, out of the women that were competing there, she was the right woman to go with. So, no issues with me. I just don't like the way Rhea Ripley looks. She lost some weight. She's starting to look a little anorexia. She's starting to look. I don't like it, man. I do not like it. Um, the women's Intercontinental Championship match with Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. Fun little match. All this stuff was. I predicted that Becky Lynch was going to come out victorious simply because of I knew what was going to happen with the CM Punk and Finn Balor match. But I was wrong. I was wrong. They had AJ Lee win, and I was like, "Wow, okay, so be it." Now that made me think differently. I'm like, okay, what's really gonna happen over here with CM Punk and Finn Balor? They're really gonna have both of them win? Okay, that's cool. Now it was a good enough match where I was entertained. I was never a big fan of AJ Lee. I was never a big fan of Becky Lynch. To me, they were just like, okay, they're all right. AJ Lee since then on Monday Night Raw came out. She cut the promo. Basically, she's getting away from Becky Lynch. There is no more Becky Lynch rivalry, at least for now. She comes out on Monday Night Raw and just basically says, listen, I'm going to be a defending champion. So if anybody out there wants it, come get it. And I'm starting to think at this moment, is the Women's Intercontinental Championship, is it being praised more? Is there more interest in that title because of who the champions are? Um, are people more focused and more interested in that title? Because you got La Primera, right? You got La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer, and you got Jade Cargill, who really, Jade Cargill, she's not wrestling. She's not getting in the ring. She's making her appearances. She's getting on camera, but she's not in the ring. She's not wrestling. She's not defending. I don't know if we see her wrestle until WrestleMania. I mean, we'll see her. We'll definitely see. She'll get some camera time, whether it's backstage, whether it's cutting a promo on somebody. We'll definitely see her. But will we see her wrestle? Because they're doing a good job in keeping her out of the ring, performing, of course, defending, of course, but keeping her on camera. So I'm thinking, like, look, there seems to be more focus on the women's Intercontinental Championship, right? You had Becky Lynch. Now you got AJ Lee. Now AJ Lee's all like, hey, I'm a fighting champion. Any girl can come get it. And now there's interest in that. Where the other titles, Stephanie Vaquer is going to be facing Liv Morgan, which isn't a bad match, but I mean, is anybody really going crazy for that match? Is anybody really, head over heels for that match? Now, Liv Morgan was pushing to be the main event on night one. Man, I'm going to tell you guys this. Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer, even for the title, it just doesn't scream WrestleMania main event to me. Now, should it be traditionally should it be, since she won the Royal Rumble and now we have two nights? I mean, winning the Rumble doesn't mean that, it used to once upon a time mean that you would main event and get a title shot at WrestleMania. Now it's just, and not just now, it's been like this for a while. You get a title shot at WrestleMania, but doesn't mean that you're going to main event it. Okay. I got kicked off there for a second for one odd reason or another, and I didn't even know I was off. All right, so back on. So getting back to it, the yeah, the Stephanie about Kerr versus Liv Morgan main event to WrestleMania Night One. Honestly, I think a bigger WrestleMania main event. Now, I'm not saying this should be the WrestleMania main event, but whatever AJ Lee, whomever she's gonna face at WrestleMania, I think that would catch more eyeballs, and that would be a women's Intercontinental Championship match. I think Stephanie has kind of she's been building. I think there was more hype to Stephanie Vaquer when she first got in, but right now I think she's kind of cooled off. And then Jade Cargill, again, I kind of the same thing. It seemed like she was super hot and on top when she came in, and now she's kind of cooled off a little bit. Right now, I think it's on AJ Lee. So AJ Lee is the new women's Intercontinental champion. She beats Becky Lynch, and she's moving on. And let's see who she's gonna be facing. CM Punk versus Finn Balor. I'm gonna tell you guys this. This was the most predictable match of the night, right? Leave La Primera alone. Oh, it seems like everyone's leaving her alone, dog. Seems like everyone's leaving her alone. As a matter of fact, people need to stop leaving her alone and start getting at her a little bit more because I think she's losing a little bit of steam, dog. I do. I think she's losing a little bit of steam. She was a little bit more of a bigger deal before. I don't really hear anybody talking about her. I think this Becky Lynch, AJ Lee thing has kind of taken over the women's division. And now that that's over with, I still think AJ Lee is kind of her calling out all the women in the back. I think that's taking over the women's division. I'm not really sure how much people really are invested in what La Primera is doing. And if it weren't for Liv Morgan, now Liv Morgan, which it was pretty good. You know, I'll tell you guys this about Liv Morgan. You guys remember her when she was with the Riot Squad? Out of all three of them, I thought she was the one that was going to fade off and disappear. And look at this now. She has completely surpassed the other two on the highest level. But going back to Finn Balor and CM Punk, this match, because AJ Lee beat um, Becky Lynch, I was thinking like, okay, they're not gonna ruin WrestleMania, man. It has to be CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. But damn, they did a damn good job. As far as the match goes, the match was really, really good. It's one of the best matches I have ever seen CM Punk in. Now, you guys already know I'm not that big of a CM Punk fan, but he's kind of grown on me these last few years that he's been back. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but I'm more of a fan of his now than ever before. And he put on a pretty good match, man. This was a good match. I really enjoyed it. I was thinking there was something that was going to go down with the Judgment Day, but nothing did. Nothing happened. And not only that, going into Monday Night Raw, basically Finn Balor's just leaving it alone. Like, okay, hey, it didn't go the way I wanted to. It didn't go the way I wanted to. That's it. This story is over. Finn Balor has just pretty much just walked away and just said like, all right, well, hey, I lost straight up. Oh well, that's it. I'll go out there to support Dirty Dom, which we'll get into that in a second. But it was a good match. CM Punk retains the title, which of course he had to. Not gonna have Finn Balor versus the tribal chief at WrestleMania. What are you kidding me? Then we have the men's elimination chamber. Logan Paul eliminates three guys. All right. This is where it got kind of good because it seems like the whole hoodie mask wearing guy that was curb stomping dudes, it seems I had thought that they threw that story in the trash. When they unmasked that dude, when Logan Paul unmasked that dude, what was it? Last week? He was like, "Who the hell are you?" I'm like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Security comes and gets him. I'm like, "Okay, I guess they're just gonna throw that story away." But no, it was actually adding to what the story's gonna be with having all these hoodie mask dudes, right? And eventually, it being Seth Rollins, which that's what everybody was thinking. But you got a couple of these guys coming out here running out, and oh, it's not him. Who the hell is this guy? And who the hell is that guy? It's like, okay, they're doing something with it. Finally, you see that it's Seth Rollins after he curb stomps Logan Paul, right? Costing Logan Paul the match, which, look, man, Logan Paul, I am a fan of his. I am a fan of his. The guy puts in the work. He can put on a really good match. He's decent at cutting promos. I am a fan of his. Now, Logan Paul versus Drew McIntyre, eh, there's no real good storyline there. I'm not against heel versus heel. Usually, to make it a big match, you got to have babyface versus babyface. But if you're going to go heel versus heel, it's got to be the right two heels. I'm trying to think just off the top of my head. If anybody knows when two heels faced each other at WrestleMania, let me know. You've had heel versus heel before. I'm trying to think just off the top of my head. Has that happened at WrestleMania? Obviously, babyface versus babyface, yes. At the biggest level, you've had that. So if you're going to go heel versus heel, it's got to be the right two heels. And Logan Paul versus Drew McIntyre, it's just no, not going to happen. Now, the fact that they eliminated LA Knight, I think he was the second to get eliminated, that pissed me off because I really wanted to see LA Knight win. I did. I was rooting for LA Knight. I was thinking, look, this is his chance. This is his shot. Is it really that big of a match, LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre? Probably not. But what is big is the moment. The moment is big for LA Knight to finally get his shot, for LA Knight to finally become champion. That is what's big. You guys remember when Liv Morgan first became champion? You guys remember when Liv Morgan was fighting to become champion? Nobody believed in her. Everybody was kind of like, oh, you know what? She's like this little small engine that could. Let's all root for her. Come on, everybody, let's get behind her. Let's get behind her. Let's root for her. Let's root for her. And then finally she became champion. And then at some point it kind of dwindled away. It kind of faded off. It's like, okay, well, she became champion. Now that's it. The whole honeymoon session is gone. But at least for that moment, it was huge. That is what I'm talking about when I talk about LA Knight. Can he carry the title? Maybe so, maybe not. But at least the moment will be huge. The moment for LA Knight to become champion, that part will be huge. The fact if he won the Elimination Chamber, you would have seen the WWE universe generally speaking, get behind LA Knight. Like, come on, LA Knight. Yes, you can do it. Let's go, LA Knight. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Now, what happens after he wins the title? And by the way, winning Elimination Chamber doesn't mean that you're going to become champion. So who knows? Maybe he goes and he loses, which I think would completely destroy the story. But nonetheless, had he gone to WrestleMania and then win the title, the moment would have been big. The moment would have been huge. After that, you deal with it after the fact. But at least at that moment, it would have been huge. So had LA Knight won, man, I would have been down with it. I would have been down with it. But I think he was the second to get eliminated. And then you have the final two, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. And I'm thinking to myself, look, there's no way Randy Orton's going to win this thing. Why? I mean, are you really going to have Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania? And not only that, I'm also thinking to myself, like, okay, is it really a big story for Randy Orton to pass 17? Because where's he at right now? Is he at 14 or 15 or something like that? Is it really that? Is it really that story? Is there any big push? I don't see a big push for any of that. I'll be real with you guys. I don't even really care for Randy Orton to, surpass the John Cena one. I think it's got to be somebody fresh. You got to start now. It's somebody that has to start now who's young and eventually just organically just pass it. But just to get the next guy, the next OG that's already close to it, oh, he's going to pass it, which, look, Randy Orton is one of the greatest to ever lace up the boots. Hands down. But to me, man, his time is come and gone, man. I'm not saying he can't be in the ring. I'm not saying the guy can't wrestle anymore. I'm just saying, like, you still get these moments. You still get become champion. You still, to me, those days are kind of done. I'm not really that invested. Maybe some of you guys are. I don't know. I'm not really that invested in what Randy Orton does. I'm not saying he needs to leave. There's definitely a spot for him in the roster. He could still wrestle. Yeah, he gets injured. He's up there in age. I still like to see RKO out of nowhere, right? But I don't want to see him as champ. I don't want to see him as like, nah, no interest for me. And there's really no big storyline for me either, at least that I'm able to see, for him to catch up or even beat John Cena's record. So Drew McIntyre gets involved in the match and goes after Cody Rhodes. Now, he doesn't go after Randy Orton until Randy Orton starts going after him. This costs Cody Rhodes the match. Randy Orton wins, which was completely surprising to me. I wasn't satisfied with it, but it was definitely a surprise. Once LA Knight was eliminated, I was just kind of like, oh gosh. Because I truly thought they were going to go with Cody Rhodes, but they didn't. They went with Randy Orton. And then on the post show, Nick Aldris comes and says, like, okay, that's the way you want to play. Well, then this is what we're going to do, Drew. On SmackDown, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the title. Now, see, this is what makes it interesting now. Now I'm interested in this because there's a few ways you can go with this, right? You can keep it the same, which I wouldn't like. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Eh. But here's a chance to change a few things up. Can you have Cody Rhodes beat Drew McIntyre on SmackDown and become the new champion, and then have Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. That's a bigger story, right? That's a bigger story. Like, oh man, you're there, there with legacy. Maybe we need to throw a little bit of bail money or something and see if we could get Ted DiBiase Jr. back up in here. If he's done with this money criminal ways. There's a little bit of story that can be built there. Is that a great match? I mean, I think it's a better story than a match itself. But look, nonetheless, I think it's a match that should happen. I'm not saying it should happen at WrestleMania, but I think at some point it should happen. Another thing that they can do with this, which is, believe it or not, this is the way I think it's going to go down. Okay. I believe we're going to have a triple threat match at WrestleMania. See, I believe on SmackDown, I believe it is Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre, but I truly believe that Randy Orton is going to get involved some way somehow. There's going to be an RKO out of nowhere. Who does he hit? I'm assuming he probably hits Drew McIntyre, costing Cody Rhodes the match. And Randy Orton, being the Viper that he is, not giving a damn and then hitting Cody Rhodes with an RKO. And I do believe we get a triple threat match at WrestleMania. At some point, I think we do need to have Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes one-on-one. We could have that down the line, but for WrestleMania, I think the way they're going to go is with a triple threat match. Now, should that main event WrestleMania Night 1, they're going to have to do a really good job storyline wise to build it. Because either way they go, I just don't find it all that sexy enough. I don't. But at least now that WrestleMania is starting to form a little bit, I'm starting to get a little bit more interested. And let's talk a little bit more of what happened on Monday Night Raw. The Tribal Chief and CM Punk meet face to face again. The promo that they cut, I thought was good. I like how they get super personal with each other. I love what Roman Reigns told them. I love how he told them, we're gonna do, we did John Cena, send you on your retirement tour. You go down NXT, train those guys, and send them up here, and all that was good. All that was great stuff. When Roman Reigns was walking away, I did not like that CM Punk grabbed him by the arm. I thought, no, no, no. Build this match without these two guys laying a single finger on each other. Just have them face to face. But build this match without these two guys. I mean, definitely don't have them, exchange blows or anything. But I was just like, no, don't even touch them. Nothing. Don't lay a single finger on them. This match, I think, will just build bigger and bigger and bigger if these guys do not lay a single finger on each other until the match. But it was good. I mean, this match itself, I think, is the one that's really carrying WrestleMania. To be real with you guys, anything else that's going on, now that we got some of the matches lined up, we got Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer. We got Mommy versus Jade Cargill. We still don't know what's going on with Drew McIntyre and who's he going to be facing. I believe that's going to end up being a triple threat match. And we got CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, which, as WrestleMania starts forming out and starts settling in, I truly believe that's the match that's going to carry WrestleMania. They're going to have to do something for night one. Because to the best of my knowledge, it's not official that CM Punk versus Roman Reigns is main eventing night two, but they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to. They're not going to put it on night one. But they're really going to have to build up night one. They're really going to have to come up with something to build up night one. Because as it stands right now, the only thing that's really actual WrestleMania material is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Everything else is just okay. It's just decent. It's just a C plus. You only have one solid A, which is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Everything else, all the other title matches, I mean, we'll see what's up with the Drew McIntyre. Maybe you could bump that up to a B minus, but everything else right now, as it stands, is just kind of like a C plus. It's not bad, but at the same time, it's Wrestle freaking Mania. It's not great either. Now you're probably gonna do something with the whole Logan Paul and Seth Rollins thing. And the fact that Seth Rollins stomped out Paul Heyman, busted his face open with LA Knight driving the ambulance. That was something. At least some of these stories are going to a point where it's like, okay, where are they going with this? What's happening here? But this stuff needs to start forming out. It needs to start forming out, man. Because you only got one solid A plus in the chamber. Everything else is just kind of a C plus at best. So you gotta do something with it. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk about John Cena and his final run. I never got to talk about it. I don't know if you guys know, but we are nearing the 1 year anniversary of John Cena turning heel. So this weekend, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about that. We're going to go on a deep dive on that. So I'll catch you guys then.